Hi, everybody. It's Zane with Sailing Views. I'm here with Wilson Stout. He is an incredible sailor. I've seen him around the sailing parks for the last couple of years. I've been hearing his name for years. So with that, let me start grilling him with some questions. First off, how you doing, Wilson?
Pretty good. Thank you for asking.
Hey, all right, good. Okay, so what age were you, and how did you start sailing, and how did it happen?
I was 8, and mom and dad put me into the old summer sailing program in Annapolis at Severn Sailing Association. So that's how I got into it. But my parents were sailors, and they met at SSA way back in the day.
All
So
right.
it's kind of born into it, if you will.
Yep, that seems to be the common thing. Just about everybody I've talked to says about the same thing. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, who were your early influences? Who were big coaches or people that helped you a lot early in your sailing?
Uh, hmm. Uh, Man, early on, I can remember their faces, but I can't remember their names. But shoot, I'm like, I remember, I can see their face, but I remember like I had a guy, Brian Bissell, and that was later on, like in my teen years. He was awesome, and he's out in California, I think. And then Ian Berman, who's a coach at the Naval Academy, I think.
All right.
So he was a big one. And then moving forward from there, obviously my coach at ODU, Mitch Brindley, he was good on. He did a great job of keeping me on as much of track as he could have, given being a wingnut college student. Yeah, so there's that, and then yeah, some of the various people after college who I've sailed with and whatnot. I've got a whole heap, but I don't know. So yeah,
Yeah.
early on though.
All right. When did you think you were good? When did you think you had a shot to keep going and do it all the time? Or like I said,
Oh,
when did you
I
become good?
definitely, yeah, I definitely thought I was the bee's knees when I just got out of college. Like I knew everything there is to be know in sailing, and now I know nothing. Always be learning.
Yeah.
Always be
It's amazing how you think you know everything and you come back later and go, man, I didn't know Jack. Yeah.
I didn't know Jack. My ego would have let you thought otherwise, but yeah, I didn't know anything.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you do for a living? How do you pay the bills? Is it sailing or what? What is it? What's your real job?
A lot of service work with to do with boats, either moving boats, putting boats together, taking boats apart, general maintenance on boats, wax, polish, whatever, just boat work, a lot of boat work. And having such a job, you can kind of, and working for yourself, you can get enough time to get in some more sailing on your own, or with other squads and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, real job.
Quote. Yeah. I know, trust me, I have those too. I know what you're talking about. All right.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite boat and why?
Ha. Mm. Mm-mm. It's probably a Melges 24 or Melges 32
Yeah.
or a Far 40. It's a hard one between the Far 40 and the 32 and the 24. I think
Yeah.
they all breeze, but I was having a good time on the Far 40 when I first started
Yeah.
getting into it. Yeah.
Yeah. They're all good boats. They're all a little different, but they're all great boats. All right. What's your favorite place to sail?
Nah. Yeah, I got to think about this. The Great Lakes actually.
Hmm.
There's when they kick hard, and
Yeah.
it's what's up. So to localize it though, I had a lot of fun sailing out of Cleveland when it's going, and Harbor Springs. Wow, that place is like America's best kept secret,
Hmm.
especially for sailing. I've only sailed there once. So yeah,
See,
and
I
maybe
find it
Key West. Key West is pretty great, amazing too. But
yeah.
yeah.
I
So
find it hard to believe you said Cleveland. I don't have the same of a attraction towards Cleveland.
well, no, it's not so much Cleveland. You got to push it farther west to Put in Bay, Ohio,
Yeah.
and it's like the Key West of the Midwest.
Yeah. Put
So
in Bay. I love Put in Bay. That's a good place. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and so I've got some friends out there that it's a lot of fun to sail with them. So it also helps at the friends. So maybe if not for the sailing, it is for
The fun.
the camaraderie,
Yeah.
if you will.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're definitely yeah. I definitely know you like to be the party king. So yeah, it's a good thing. Seeing you out there, you always seem like you're having fun.
Oh man,
You know.
am I the party king? No shit.
Well, at least from what
Yeah.
I see, you look like you're always having fun and keeping everything light and lively. So,
Ah, yeah, that might be me.
yeah.
That might be me. Yeah, no big deal.
All right. Where do you see sailing going in the future? With everything shut down now, all the regattas are being pushed back, and you know, everything's a mess. So, where do you see it going?
Oh, man. It's definitely going to be much smaller. I think that's hard to say. I mean, I'm certainly not in a position. I'm just a little sailboat worker guy who. So it's a good question. I not going to be as much of it as there was. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Well,
I think
I think a lot of people are going to have to, pick which regattas to go, and I think I'm thinking the next couple months when everything opens up and they start rescheduling. I have a sneaky feeling a lot of people are going to just run out of time and budget trying to jam it all in just such a short burst that I don't know how everybody's going to get it done.
I imagine that any regattas will be. I don't want to say it, but I think like half the people are going to show up to events.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I don't know.
everyone's
Everybody's been
saving
on
for, like,
lockdown. I would think if
yeah.
there's an event, everybody might just blast to it. I don't know. It's
Yeah, exactly. And then certainly the face of events, no more tent parties. Tent parties are going to be weird too.
oh yeah,
Don't forget your mask. Don't forget your gloves. You're like,
yeah,
stay 6 feet away from each other. It's like, I don't even know. I don't even know.
yeah.
You tell me, man.
I'm not sure. All right.
No.
So, what's one of the best regattas or best trips you've been on?
Best regatta. I've had a lot of fun ones, but one of my favorites that I'll always remember had an unfortunate ending, but I think it was 2014 or 2013 Par 40 Worlds in Newport, and we were underdogs and we were tied for first going into the last race and lost the tiebreaker. But the regatta had every condition you could imagine, and we sailed on the north course and out at sea at the south course. And I mean, one day we've got the phone out trying to find the weather mark using GPS, and all of a sudden we're rounding the weather mark in first and can't see other boats. And then the fog cleared and we're in first, and da 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 da. Da. We put on a really good show and we had a good time, and that was definitely one of my favorite events. And then, yeah. And then there's just blasting on a Melders 32 outside of Cleveland in Lake Erie. When it blows, it's shallow there, and the wave state is insane. And so, yeah. But I would say Par 40 Worlds Newport 2013 or 14. Yeah.
All right. Very good. Okay. Now, with that, what's your worst trip? Worst regatta, worst trip, worst whatever.
Yeah, Australia 2018, Etchells Worlds, Brisbane. What was that? Oh man. That was an emotional roller coaster, and I've learned a lot in how to lock it up, keep my words to myself, and kind of got, I thought I was learning how to have a tough skin sailing with some people who just rip your head off nonstop, but then I learned a lot more on how to have my head ripped off at that event for 2 weeks straight. And I went to that event after I'd done 2 other world championships in a row. So I went J70s, and that wasn't great. And then I went to Par 40 Worlds in Chicago, and that was Not that great either. And then I got out to Australia, and by this point, I was so spent mentally, emotionally spent. And now I'm on a flight to Australia. I thought Australia was going to be cool. It was just a lot of getting yelled at in a good, maybe constructive way, but not really. And yeah, it
Yeah.
made me question why I'm sailing. But now I'm over it. Now I know how to handle that, and it's a lot of fun to sail with people like that. Sometimes I learned a lot. I learned a lot. Learned a lot of life lessons there.
Oh
It was
yeah.
good. Oh yeah.
All right. Okay. What's the most interesting thing you've seen floating by in the water?
I remember seeing a dead chicken. I was like, oh, we got a dead bird up here. Maybe a seagull. Nope, that's a chicken. But that was like in the East River of New York. So that was, go figure.
Yeah.
Certainly haven't seen much weirder than that off the top of my head. Trash, obviously, just heaps of trash.
Yeah.
You know, you errant condom and or tampon or yeah, I don't know what I can say online, but I'm just
Yeah. Lots of weird things.
yeah, lots of weird things. Something to do with birthday balloons. These things are always in the water.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's
Birthday
silly.
balloons are horrible. They need to go away.
Yeah.
All right. What's your best role on a boat? Do you like being tactician, or what are you best at? Are you bow? Are you pit? You know What's your best job that you think is your best job, not what others think?
Um, ultra floater. There's a floater, and then there's me. Yes, I'm gonna pull the ego out and say like I can put many a fire out on in any job, and being that I'm a small person is what's got me a lot of the rides I have. So, you know, I was trained on the bow. I do a mean bow. I can trim a mean head sail, but when it comes to it, I'm very good at being the everyman on a boat. Trim this, grind that, fix this down there. Da, 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 da. So yeah, if you have a void on your team or a little bit of weight to fill, I'm a pretty strong person in that regard.
Gotcha.
Cause
So
yeah.
just generally anything. All right. If you're sailing, are you more of the aggressive type or the conservative type? Are you always wanting to you know, put the chute up early before the offset? Or are you just crazy at the starts? What do you aggressive, conservative? What do you think?
Probably err more towards conservation in the beginning of an event. You know, just like, hey, it's the first race. We don't need to do a 360 at the top mark if we can help it, or you know, try to figure out ways to get that. So I would say partial to the conservative side of things until you start getting to the end of the event, and then I would say be more aggressive. And then in terms of being on the boat, if everyone's doing their job and it's quiet on a boat, then it's good. But the second you start hearing people yelling, and then I've gotten to the point where I start to yell now and actually have a good reason to yell. So that's a big one. But yeah, I would say conservative towards the until something starts not looking good. Then I start freaking out.
All right. Okay. What's the best maneuver, greatest maneuver you've pulled off on a boat? You know, free climbing a mast. You know, just something crazy. I don't know. You know.
Craziest things I've done on a boat was on a fast 40 coming into the weather and then offset mark. Gave everyone the rundown on how to do a sambuca and not get it caught in the triangle. And this whole crew had never done this before. And I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to do this while racing. First time, trial by fire. And we pulled it off. We were able to backwind the jib, keep the bow pointed down so the kite would blow forward and around the head stay as it was going up. And they were overhauling the clue. And yeah, the first time they've ever done a jibe set, if you will, at the offset mark on a fast 40, and we nailed it and passed some boats. So that was crazy. I don't know if that's the craziest thing. Oh, craziest thing I've ever done? Yeah, getting knocked down by 40 knots of breeze at 4 a.m. during the Mac race because we didn't take our kite down, and then we lost our kite under the boat and ripped our wand off the top, and then we ran the kite over, and then there's flares popping off behind us, and there's a capsized trimaran. Woof! That was the first time I've done the Mac race. We only made it halfway. And now I know letterbox. That's a move.
Yeah.
Things you don't learn, things you don't understand about offshore racing until you go offshore racing. So, yeah.
All right. All right, great. All right, what's your favorite project or program you've been involved with?
I am going to equally put the Hooligan Flat Stanley Racing team is definitely my favorite. I've been involved in, and now I'm involved on this other program, Gamecock, which is a classic yacht. And then the boss man has got a couple other boats he likes to dabble in sailing and whatnot. But yeah, Flat Stanley Hooligan Racing. I've known those guys like since 2011, met them in Key West, and they've brought me along for everything, and I've learned a lot from sailing with them. And also, they've proven to me that it is possible to do very well, if not win, and have fun while you're doing it, which is sometimes lost on some programs I've been on, where it's like, this isn't fun. Like, I'm being yelled at, and we're doing no better. And yeah, so there's something to be said. Skipper crew dynamics, I think, are very important in a boat, and that just goes for if your whole team likes each other, odds are you're going to go well.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that helps. So that was definitely a good program to be a part of.
All right. The Marrakesh Cup, with the foiling and all the fun stuff. What do you think? You love it, hate it?
I think it's cool. It's so like far removed from all the sailing I've ever done. I've only ever once sailed with like Terry Hutchinson, and we did well, but that was a while ago too, and so I feel like I could be better mentally prepared for the intensity. Oh man, it's pretty easy to get your feelings hurt, and then you kind of learn like, oh wait, that's just how it always is, and then you learn how not to let your feelings feel harder.
Yeah.
Then you start doing better. But yeah, so yeah, I think it's cool that we're foiling mono hulls. They look like spaceships, which I think is awesome. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah,
sure.
we've got the Marrakesh boat right here in Pensacola a lot of the time, and that thing is just, it looks amazing. So we will see.
Yeah, right on.
All right. Let's see what's the next question. All right, what are your future plans? I know everything's kind of on hold, but have you started to put together plans for the future and events, and what have you got?
Right now, I am going to be headed up to Newport. This is always the plan, is to move up to Newport. I'm involved on this guy's program. He has a bunch of boats, classic boats, and then some racing boats. And with all the projects and then just maintaining boats, I'm just a boat boy.
Yeah.
Working on boats and bide my time, and so I'm actually all right. I'm doing okay, and I've been called up from some other people asking if I'm good and if I need work. So right now I'm good for the most part.
Well, good. At least you got plans going on. I don't know what's happening, so all right. A lot of us don't. All right. So what do you think about the state of women sailing and women in sailing? What can we do better?
This is a great question. I want to have a great answer. I will not take too long. I think like what the IC-37s are doing is pretty good. I think the state of women in sailing isn't fantastic. I know, like, for instance, what I do is, with working on boats, is a trade skill, and we don't really push kind of trade skills like that towards women at all, or or like. But every once in a while, when you do, I do know, like like two or three girls that are killing it in terms of trades to do with sailing, and because of that, they are sailing a lot
Mm,
more than if they were just a ex college All American, skipper, women's skipper, and things like that. But to get, I mean, obviously, it's not great. There's not a lot of women drivers in any class, and mm, I could be better. And how to make it better, I'm not entirely sure. Other than I think it's great every time there are girls on the boat, and they kind of like, there are roles on the boat that girls can do, but it's hard to get around to learning those roles because you have to have a thick skin. And some of the professionals, if you're not doing well, you are messing with their bread and butter by not being good. And
yeah.
therefore, they're not getting good results. And therefore, they shred you to pieces. And um, yeah, it's just, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough to get to where it's tough to get to a point where you're like confident that you can start yelling at people and teaching them how to sail. And yeah, I don't know if I'm really answering the question that well. It's not an easy question. It's not an easy
Yeah,
question.
it's women sailing, man. I definitely think we need more of them. How to fit them in is definitely difficult. Sometimes the jobs on a boat are, just a little too hard for some of them. Some of the jobs are hard for, big guys like me. So, finding the little niche jobs for them. The problem is you only need two or three small people on a boat. The other people need to be big and strong, and finding that blend is a little difficult. So just
Yeah.
finding the right role and the right person for each job is already hard enough. It doesn't matter if it seems to be men or women. It's putting a team together is always difficult. But
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
I would love to see more women drivers. I'd love to see more women, period, doing it, but I don't have a solution. So,
No.
all right. So, what ideas do you have on growing the sport? What can we do to help, get new people and attract new people into it?
Um, Growing the sport and getting more people into it. I mean, we do. A good idea is having trying to fund more programs that allow people who otherwise wouldn't have access to the water, get them access to the water. And it's not entirely saying like, oh yeah, this kid from out in the country who's trying out sailing, he's gonna be like the next best thing, who's going to the America's Cup or anything like that. But at least if we start getting more, if we start harnessing a larger talent pool and making sailing more accessible, then there will be people who otherwise never would have even thought of sailing or getting into it, and then maybe their kids that they start up sailing
Mm,
will then start doing it at a higher level, if not them. And so,
yeah.
well, it's a bit of a long game. Can't really jump right into it right off the bat, but I do know that right now, I remember when I was coaching kids and they hop out of their air conditioned Range Rover and they start fussing about how it's hot outside. And I'm trying to teach them how to sail an Opti. And it's like, okay, clearly, like, you're not going to be into it. But these are the only people who are getting exposed to sailing at a young
Mm,
age. And then you kind of wonder about, for instance, down in South America, why are all these South Americans kicking our ass and whatnot? So, well, one part is that they don't have a lot, and the kids realize that we don't have a whole lot, and so they take it way more seriously,
yeah.
and it shows, uh, and whatnot. And also, one thing I have noticed that is really huge, in my opinion, is that and I relate to myself in this one, was that when I got out of college, or when I was in college coaching kids in junior summer sailing, I thought I knew everything there was to know about sailing. Turns out I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything. And right now we have college kids, millennials. I am a millennial, so I can say this, that are think they know everything about sailing, and then it turns out they don't. And then it's not after about 10 years of getting my teeth kicked in and whatnot on how to sail and how to perform and how to trim and how to tune and how to everything, that I'm like, now I could go back and actually teach kids. And I'd also have a better sense about me on how to teach them too, not so much just screaming and yelling at them and whatnot, like I was back in the day. Yeah.
All right. All right. What kind of advice do you have for new people that are getting into sailing or want to know more? What kind of advice do you have for them?
If you're new to sailing and you're getting into it, advice, just take your time. And certainly don't expect that paying a lot of money earns you results. If you're getting into racing, if you're getting into sailing, just understand that you know nothing and there's a lot to know. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen out there. But
Captain Ron, huh?
yeah, no, it's too true. It's like words to live by.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Just take your time and the point of it is to have fun. It's not to win. It's not to look cool. Are you having fun? I mean, otherwise people wouldn't pay for it. It's at that point, it's like, if you're not having fun, go buy a powerboat, right?
Yep.
So, we don't want that. We want it to be fun.
Yep.
Sometimes being really intense and screaming your brains out is fun for some people, and other people not so much. So
exactly. All right. Well, what else do you have to add? You've heard my little questions. What have you got to add? What do you think?
I hope we can get back to sailing, some semblance of it. I understand that we're in a new now, so I just kind of hope everyone's staying safe and that we get back to it and start having some fun racing. And goodness gracious, that's about it.
I gotcha. All right. Well, everybody, this is Wilson Stout. He is an excellent sailor. Don't let him fool you. He's might play dumb, but I guarantee you he is not. He's very smart, very good, very talented. He is a true rock star. So thank you once again, Wilson, and I will see you somewhere in the trenches. So
see you in Newport, man.
Yep, Newport, Miami, somewhere. All right.
Somewhere, baby. All right, thank you, Zane.
All right, thanks. Catch you later, buddy. All right.
See ya.
Bye.